So, you want to learn just how the Peloponnesian War began, how tensions boiled between Sparta and Athens. Well, here's the place. This first video focuses on Athens and its dominance. It includes coding animations, lots of hand-drawn figures, images, and an interesting script read by me. So without further introduction, let's head to 479 BC, when the states of Greece were victorious. People, countrymen, and citizens of Hellas, listen to me. We have finally driven off the Persian invaders for a second time. May we all prosper in peace again.
Classical Greece, the place of art, the world of philosophers, and land of gods. It was spiritual, practical, and ruled by many separate city-states across the mountains, coasts, and islands. The most powerful state was Athens. It stood on the rich plains of Attica, overlooking the Aegean Sea. It had bountiful crops, the largest and most lavish temple, and its citizens would go to marketplaces debating what to do with its massive wealth. But it wasn't just Athenian culture that was rising. Athens was the role model of a modern citizen army in Greece. They had a regular army of locals, with standardized troop numbers, commanded by 10 generals elected annually for giving passionate speeches in assemblies. But their greatest strength was being the largest maritime power on the Mediterranean, who often sent ships to strip resources from weaker states. To consolidate some allies, Athens formed the Delian League, a defense coalition to prevent Persian influence reaching Greece. Each city-state provided gold, soldiers, or other commodities to a treasury on the island of Delos. But soon it was clear the League was just a system to govern the wider Athenian Empire. By the year 454 BC, the treasury moved to Athens, and the city began funding large projects for themselves. This made some states very angry, and anger often led to revolt. One of the biggest revolts happened after the First Peloponnesian War, when the Athenians went all the way to Anatolia to pillage Samos. The Samians were an oligarchy and had some conflicts with Miletus, a neighboring democratic state. When Pericles heard the news, he wanted to make sure Miletus stayed democratic, and did this by sending 40 triumvirs to take control of Samos. The Samians initially surrendered, then rebelled, before surrendering again. Eventually, they were forced to pay heavy war reparations and replace their oligarchy with a democracy. In this way, Athens maintained the Delian League and made its name known to the world. But now let's return to a decade before the Samian War, when there weren't many wars, but when tensions were rising. There was no doubt Athens was going through a golden age at the height of classical Greece, and the ruler of this state was a certain statesman Pericles. His father was an aristocrat who liked to bite on the non-aristocrats in the assemblies. He made his name by prosecuting a well-known general from the Battle of Marathon, getting ostracized for failing, and returned again to lead the Battle of Mycale. When he won, he returned as a hero. Pericles had a lot of aristocratic support at a very young age, but he wasn't much interested in joining them like his late father. Instead, he founded the leaders of the Demos, meaning a democratic party serving the people. This didn't make his relationships with other aristocrats very good, and his greatest opposition was Cimon, the commander from the Battle of Salamis. He was famous and enjoyed glory in Athens, but Pericles was a good public debater. And what did he do to Cimon? He ostracized him, like many other ostracism he did in his political career. Don't like him? Ostracized. Don't like ducks? Ostracized. Here's a politician. Get ostracized. This was how an aggressive aristocrat-born Pericles, with the favor of the people, controlled the power in a democratic country. And if this man could ostracize his own people, what would he do to those other city-states?
Those dirty, filthy Thracian barbarians, they deserve to be colonized for not helping during the Persian War. Call back Cimon. I want to have them for good. And so, after 10 years of being exiled, Cimon returned and left for the southern part of Thrace, where he reached the coastal town of Eion, and his first encounters were like, "Why does your temporary stay feel like a long-term occupation? Relax. We are staying here to protect your rights and defend against the other Thracian barbarians." But in truth, the Athenians found a whole bunch of raw iron materials there, and Cimon decided to establish the town of Amphipolis, just so Athens could stay while the mines last. Why are you moving our iron ores? They attract invaders. Wait, why have you hired so many of them into your army? Because I need them. And now, let's move to Thracian mercenaries. They can be purchased light or heavy and come from a bunch of different tribes in the mountains. The civilized Greek cultures have long used them as mercenaries, but after numerous generations of civil chaos, a great Thracian king called Sitalces united the tribes and expanded his kingdom. It was here, after centuries of being just about everyone's mercenaries, Sitalces called on his subjects like, "Yeah, gather round. Listen, our people have been used by the major powers for too long. Let's all stay united and never become mercenaries again." But then the Athenians arrived with a whole load of cash from the newly exploited Amphipolis mines, and Sitalces let his people's mercenary work continue for about another few hundred years.